Greetings and blessings to you all. This week, week 14, all about it. We're going to talk about knowing your worth. So, with me, everybody's always like, hey, where are you getting these numbers from? Like, are you just pulling these out of your U-Ha? You know what I'm saying? Hey, no, I'm not. This is actually, strategically calculated. So for all of you, that's actually asking me, how do you find out what your worth is? Well, you know what you did more than anybody else. So, the best advice that I can give you is take everything that you did, and you just list it. Let's say you have, let's just use myself. So let's say you have an associate's degree. Well, I don't have an associate's degree, so, I guess we'll have to skip that. But if you have an associate's degree, you write that down. For me, I have a bachelor's degree in psychology. So I will write that down. Bachelor's degree, psychology. I have a master's degree in clinical psychology. Write that down. I have a master's degree in healthcare administration. Write that down. I am actually certified as a phlebotomist. I'm a phlebotomist tech. I am also a registered medical assistant. I have certificates in a range of different things. And then, I don't know if I said Lean Six Sigma black belt, and I'm also a Lean Six Sigma green belt, because that doesn't expire, I think, till this year. I think that expires this year, but it doesn't matter because I end up getting my Lean Six Sigma black belt. So I'm certified in that, and that doesn't expire till next year, which that's the reason why my goal is to make sure that I get, certified as a master black belt by next year. That's my goal, to get that done. And my goal is also to get the PMP. So long story short, to find out what your worth is, you start looking at things in that field. You have to do some extensive research. So, skipping all that, let's just go to the certifications, because certifications make a lot more money than education right now. So let's type in, Lean Six Sigma black belt. Go to Google. I'm not sponsoring anybody, anything like that. I'm just, boom, that's what I got, Google. So I'm going to Google, Lean Six Sigma black belt. All right, cool. So when that comes up, off top, it says $127,000 a year. It says, nearly 34% more than green belts. Okay, so that means if you're interested in becoming a green belt, you know that in order to make more money, if that's what your goal is, if you're really passionate about that, then it'll behoove you to get a black belt. Hence the reason why I did it, because a green belt makes 34% less than a black belt. And I know a master black belt makes more money, but I don't have that. So in sense for this right here, you can always hit me up, let me know. Like I said, I do business consulting. I can help you out with that. I can also help out with career building. Like I said, just hit up my social medias. All my information as far as how to contact me is going to be listed in the links below. So feel free to get one of those out there. I have no problem with sitting down with you to break down things down personally, because this is knowing your worth is being able to quantify who you are as an individual. Makes a lot more sense. And you got to know where you want to go. Like, for example, let's say you want to be a billionaire. Okay, cool. You want to be a billionaire? Well, the way money works is you might want to be able to get like 6 figures first. So let's start with that. Let's start with 6 figures. Okay, let's get $100,000 minimum. And then once you make those 6 figures and start going up through the ranks, and then from that 6 figures, hey, boom, you got your one. Hey, okay, cool. Let's say you got 150. All right, cool. So your next step, hey, 300, and like keep making it steps, because if you sit there and have your bar too high, hey, and you're just so focused on, hey, I need to get this 3 commas. That looks way higher up there, and you're not gonna be able to get that bar. That bar is way up there, but a bar for you might be like, oh, look at that. I can almost touch 6 figures. Oh, I'm almost there. So that's more attainable. You know, if you can just get a run and a jump, you're right there. You're on it. So that's there. So, but going back to knowing your worth, how I come up with these numbers is you Google it, do some research. Like, for example, it says 127,000, and you want to look to about 3 different places. So that's investopedia.com. And then, okay, cool, on asq.org, which actually does do a lot of fact sheets. They actually say, according to them, they're starting off with about $90,000 a year. But they're saying black belts save companies approximately $230,000 per project. and can complete 4 to 6 projects per year. So that's a lot of money that they're saving. And so basically that'll be your range. Like, so 90. So right now that looks like that's the lowest that they're making. And so then I found another one over at salary.com. Salary.com says a 6 Sigma black belt will actually get, in the United States, this is actually as of February 26th. You also want to look at the dates as well. Cause you don't want to be looking at something that said, 2007. You want to look at something that's current. So currently right now at salary.com, they are actually ranging, a Lean Six Sigma black belt with a salary of about, that's falling between, 88, pretty much, let's just say 89. So let's say 89,000 in the 10 percentile, and the 9 percentile is 140,000. So basically the median of that's going to be about 122. So that's just with having one certificate. That's one certificate. So if off top the middle, you're going like, okay, let's say you lowball yourself, which you should not ever do. Let's say you lowball yourself and say, hey, I'm gonna go with the 25th percentile. So that's $105,000 with that. So we're gonna write that down. Yeah, let me get this down because I suck at math. I don't want to be lying to y'all. That's 105,000. So we'll say 105,000 for the black belt. Now let's look up and see what MHA. Let's look up that degree. MHA salaries. So pretty much according to pay scale, the MHA to salary, you have about 82 to about 117. You'll have that there, and then MHAdegree.org, they're basing theirs off about 100, so let's say about a 101. And then our third one, they're saying that a healthcare administrator makes between about 70 to 90 over here on MPHA program listing. So it just really depends on where you go for that. So I would just take those 3 different numbers, and then I will actually average it. I'll actually average that out. And so once you average that out, you can come up with your numbers. But overall, that's going to also be another 6-figure position. So if you take that, and then that's another $100,000 for just the MHA. Now my focus, I'm not really trying to do, I'm really not trying to do anything as far as dealing with patients. So that's why I'm not adding in my master's in health and master's in clinical psychology. So even with my black belt and my master's in healthcare administration, that right there by itself, 105 minimum for the black belt, 100 minimum for MHA. So if you take those two together, that's like 205. Now most people's like, oh, well, you can't add that together. Okay, you're right. So if your goal is to only make so if your goal is only make 6 figures and you don't want to add both of those together, you can do that if you're not bringing anything else to the table. So then yes, you can pretty much say, hey, 150, meet that in the middle, and that'll be your baseline. So your worth will be 150 if you do that. But for me, I'm not really doing all that because I know I have my own goals, because it goes off of your goals too. Like this year, my goal is to make 200,000 plus. So I'm not going to come out there and say, hey, I need to make $90,000. Like there's no point in doing that because I'm not going to meet my goal because I know where I'm trying to go. So at minimum that I'm going to be able to take will be 150. So basically mine will be, I'll start off at 150, but my goal is I want to be able to get 200 because I know next year I got to make more money. And so for me, I'm also, it's a little different too. It's because I also know that next year I'm going to be done with my PhD program, and that's going to be in industrial organizational psychology. Oh yeah, actually, let me look that up. So industrial organizational psychology. Let's see, IO psychology salary. Let's look at that. And so they're actually coming out making salaries, blah, blah, blah. There we go. So basically what they have on here, they have a 1, so that's 111. So 111 for that one. And that's at minimum. And so if you take all that, it's like, I know now I also have a PhD. And so the whole point of that I'm trying to make is take all of what you have, all of your knowledge and education. It's better to anything that you have to continue to pay as far as renewing it, as far as having to take competencies and having to do what's the word I'm looking for? Having to do not practicums, but every year you have to actually renew it. It is actually good. It's actually good to have to do that. Actually, I have another one for my registered medical assistant here. CEUs. That's what I'm talking about right there. God, dog. Continuing education units. Anything that's requiring you to actually get CEUs in order to renew it, or amount of hours in order to renew it, that's what you want to actually get certified in. Anything that requires you to do that, because then that's going to let people know that you are staying up to date and up to par with whatever is going on in that industry. So like I said, I don't know what everybody has personally, but I know for a fact that actually does work. So you need to know your worth. It don't take nothing less. And it's easier to do that. It's easy to break that thing down. It's easier to break it down if you know your worth. And my thing is, you need to break that down to day. You need to break it down to week. You need to break it down to bi-weekly. Break it down to monthly. Break it down to every 3 months. Break it down to every year, and have all that stuff broken down. And so let's say hypothetically, you want to make, let's say $200,000. Let's say 200,000. Let's say you want to have $200,000. So if you want to make $200,000, it's like, so basically every year you want to make $200,000. So they're like, well, you take that $200,000. You're like, hey, I want to make $200,000. If you're like, okay, so what is that going to be a month? So right there, you go ahead and do your multiplication. So each month, that is about $17,000. So someone says, well, I can't pay you for the year, but I'll be interested in getting your services for about 3 months, or let's just do it on a month-to-month basis. You're like, cool. Well, it's to be $17,000. So you don't even got to think about it. You already know that it's $17,000 you're going to charge a month. So they say something like, oh, well, I want to know what that, well, my thing is, you know, let's just try that out for 2 weeks then. Okay, 2 weeks. Cool. Then you'd be like, $8,333.33. You know what I'm saying? Or you can just round up. So you got to know that. It's like, so for example, I know a lot of people like to break things down, like, oh, well, let's go ahead and get you on a case by case basis, but we're only going to have to do it hourly. Okay, cool, buddy. Well, I'll take $150. I do $150 an hour. And like, so it's easier if you know your worth. So then that way you're not getting lowball. And the reason why I'm saying that, is because a lot of people, everybody wants to make sure they're getting their return on investment. And the whole goal is for people to save money. And if you don't know your worth, then people's not going to be able to help. But don't go out there asking for like a whole bunch of money. Like let's say you're asking for $150 an hour, but yet you're only giving them $25 worth of work, or you're giving them $10 worth of work. That's not going to be good. You may get that money that one time, but you're not going to get a repeat customer. So you don't make sure that you're actually getting your quality. Because after research, I have noticed that there's a lot of businesses that go out there and they don't pay their consultants because they didn't plan it properly. That's why you need to make sure that you're offering incentives to get that cash up front. Because if you don't get that cash up front, there's a possibility that maybe the project doesn't fall through, or maybe they don't want it, or maybe they go somewhere else with the project, or something big happens. Like, for example, COVID happened. So you don't know. So you want to make sure that you get a good chunk of your money up front and make incentives for that. But like I said, know your worth. Keep on going. I'm with you. I think you're doing a great job. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. All my information down below. Feel free to comment, like, and subscribe. And can't wait to hear from you. Peace.